We're living in a time when machines can translate languages instantly, yet we still struggle to understand each other. We've unlocked the code of DNA, the very blueprint of life itself. We can peer across the universe to galaxies 13 billion light years away, but how many of us have taken the time to understand what makes us human? We've explored the cosmos, but the greatest mystery might just be right here, within us. That's the paradox. The human race is progressing faster than ever, but we are still asking the same questions our ancestors whispered to the stars. Why am I here? What does it mean to be human? And what is this strange pull I feel that I came here for something more? If these questions sound familiar, then it's not a coincidence. Maybe they're not new questions. Maybe they're the echoes of curiosity that have been reverberating in your mind, a curiosity that's part of our cosmic journey. And maybe, just maybe, you made an agreement long before you were even born, before we even knew what gravity was. Not a contract in ink, but an energetic commitment before you took your first breath. Before your atoms even belonged to you, you said yes. Yes to entering this beautiful, broken world. Yes to stepping into matter and memory. Yes to becoming a light worker. Not because you had to, because you chose to. And in that choice, you accepted a series of profound agreements, not all at once, not in words, but in essence. 7 of them, like coordinates imprinted on your soul. The first agreement, you chose to step into a lower vibrational state. In the cosmos, everything operates through vibration. From the smallest quantum particles to the largest galactic structures, frequency governs how energy manifests. High-frequency energy is subtle, rapid, expansive. It's what defines the nature of light and the cosmos itself. But Earth, as a physical world, doesn't operate on the same frequency as the universe's grandest phenomena. It is denser, more emotionally complex, and far more raw in its physicality. Thus, you entered this realm not by force, but by choice, by dialing down your frequency to engage with the physical world. Just like light passing through a prism, where it slows and refracts into a spectrum, your energy condensed, allowing you to be part of this world, to be seen and heard, as you continue to engage with its vast mysteries. You agreed to be born into a world where your body has limitations, to experience this dimension of reality. Why? Because only in this tangible form, where you feel time and space, can you truly begin to appreciate the vastness of the universe and even transcend the very limits of your own body. You agreed to speak in human terms so that you could translate timeless truth into a language hearts could hear. Just as a star collapses into a supernova to birth new elements, you collapsed your frequency into human experience so you could become a catalyst for change. And that decision, that wasn't weakness. That was cosmic courage. The second agreement, you chose to forget who you really are. This is one of the most mind-boggling aspects of human existence. Why would a conscious being, born of stardustiers, literally stardust, choose to forget that very thing? To embrace amnesia and walk through life as if it's all a mystery? Why? Because in science, discovery often comes from not knowing, from asking the questions. Without the unknown, there is no learning. Why would a conscious being, formed from the same elements that stars are made of, choose to be born with amnesia? Why embrace the limitations of ignorance? Because in science, forgetting is often the first step to discovery. Meaning doesn't simply reveal itself, it is something we create, forged by our experiences and our ability to confront the unknown. Just as we can only comprehend the vastness of space by first recognizing our own limitations within it, we create meaning through exploration and self-reflection. When you forget your divinity, you get to rediscover it through love, through loss, through wonder. You get to learn what it means to choose the light, even when you don't remember being made of it. Like a seed buried underground, you surrendered the memory of the sky so you could reach for it with your own roots. You chose to experience the journey not as a god watching from above, but as a human walking through the rain with bare feet, willing to feel every stone along the way. And that forgetfulness, it wasn't punishment, it was the gateway to empathy. Because to truly help others rise, you had to know what it feels like to fall. The third agreement, you chose to serve not in the way the world often defines it. as sacrifice or martyrdom, but as a conscious choice to contribute to something bigger than yourself. Think of it this way. Just as gravity bends light, your presence bends energy. Your actions, your thoughts, they send ripples across the fabric of the universe. You didn't come here to dominate, but to remind us all that we're capable of more. Your life, just like any cosmic force, is a kind of transmissiona signal that others pick up on, whether they realize it or not. You're not here to force enlightenment on others, but to amplify clarity. Not through loud proclamations, but through your presence, your work, and your choices. Not louder than others, but clearer. Not holier than others, but humbler. You didn't come here to dominate or convince. You came to remind, through your being, your work, your presence, you help others remember what they forgot too. Service is not a task. It's a transmission. Every time you choose compassion instead of control, every time you choose honesty over harmony, every time you choose presence over performance, you serve. And in serving, you create a ripple across the matrix of consciousness. That ripple is real. It moves, it magnifies, and it matters. The fourth agreement, you agree to anchor light. But let's clear something up right away. This doesn't mean you need to be positive all the time. That's a misunderstanding. To anchor light is to stabilize clarity, especially in a world constantly bombarded by chaos and noise. Just like stars don't try to shine, they just are. They burn because that's their nature. You too carry that light within you, even when the world feels darker than it ever should. You're not here to run from the storm, but to guide others through it. Stars don't try to shine, they just burn. And you too carry that core fusion of light inside you. But here on Earth, that light can flicker. It can get dimmed by grief, by injustice, by the everyday ache of being alive. Still, you anchor it not by pretending everything is okay, but by refusing to let the darkness define the narrative. You become a lighthouse, not to escape the storm, but to guide others through it. Anchoring light means that you live aligned with something eternal even while paying your bills, even while mourning your losses, even while holding contradictions in both hands. And when you do that, you don't just survive, you transform. The fifth agreement, you agree to transform negative energy. Now, this is where physics becomes your best friend. There's a fundamental principle: energy can't be destroyed, it can only change form. So when you encounter negative energy conflict, fear, anger, don't fight it, transmute it, turn it into wisdom, resilience, compassion. In the universe, the death of a star isn't the end. It's a transformation giving rise to new elements, new possibilities. Your personal struggles, they're no different. They're the raw material of your evolution. This law is not just a scientific fact, it's a model for how we can engage with life's challenges. Much like how the collapse of a star gives birth to new elements, our struggles can give rise to wisdom, strength, and growth. In this way, we are cosmic alchemists, transforming the raw materials of adversity into the gold of personal evolution. On Earth, negative energy is inevitable. Conflict, fear, violence, self-doubt. These are not aberrations. They are expressions of the density you agreed to enter. But unlike many who absorb that energy unconsciously, you agree to alchemize it. Not by fighting darkness with more darkness, but by metabolizing it into wisdom, compassion, and resilience. You don't avoid the shadows. You walk into them carrying the light of awareness. You don't suppress rage. You listen to what it's teaching you about justice. You don't deny grief. You let it carve space in your heart for deeper empathy. To transmute is to be a cosmic chemist, turning the heavy metals of fear into the gold of understanding. It's not glamorous. Often, it's quiet. It's the deep breath before responding with kindness instead of retaliation. It's the choice to forgive, not because someone deserves it, but because you deserve the freedom. This internal recycling of emotion and experience builds a new energetic architecture for humanity to evolve within. It's not just healing, it's engineering the future. The sixth agreement, you agree to walk in truth and integrity. Now, let's take a moment to talk about entropy. In the observable universe, entropy tends to increase. That's the second law of thermodynamics. Things break down, fall apart. But your consciousness can do something remarkable. You can reverse that trend within the scope of your own life. By choosing truth, by choosing integrity, you counteract entropy on a personal level. You refuse to fragment yourself. You live in coherence where your inner values are reflected in your actions. And guess what? When you do that, you're not just surviving, you're actively shaping a more harmonious world. Truth is the gravitational center of spiritual growth. Without it, everything drifts. And so you made an agreement before this life even began to stay aligned with truth, even when it costs you approval, comfort, or control. Integrity is not about being perfect. It's about coherence. It's about making your inner values visible in your outer actions. It's about refusing to fragment yourself into what others expect, and instead living as a unified field whole, honest, unhidden. In a world flooded with curated identities and performative morality, your authenticity is radical. And yes, you will be tested. You will be misunderstood. But that's not failure, that's confirmation. Truth isn't what makes you safe. Truth is what makes you free. And when enough people walk in truth, cultures shift. Systems evolve. Empires based on illusion collapse. That's the power of one honest soul standing still while the world spins. And finally, the seventh agreement, you chose to illuminate the path for others. Now, let's take a black hole, not as some cosmic villain, but as a region where our understanding of physics breaks down. Near a black hole, light bends, time dilates, and space itself warps. It's a place where everything we thought we knew is challenged. And in many ways, that's what your presence in the world does. It challenges the status quo. You don't need to have all the answers. But by living your truth, by staying grounded in your light, you become a beacon that others can orient themselves by. Just like the gravitational pull of a black hole, your example can help guide others, even if they can't quite see the way yet. It's a place where the known universe begins to bend, much like how your life, when lived with purpose, can distort the perception of reality for those around you. Now, imagine that Earth, in its current state of confusion and crisis, behaves like a kind of psychological black hole, meaning collapses. Truth distorts. Time feels accelerated, yet hollow. In such a field, people need points of orientation, beacons of clarity that remind them there's more to existence than consumption, division, and survival. That's where you come in. You agreed, long before birth, to be that orientation, not by having all the answers, but by living as the question. Not by saving others, but by staying lit when they forget their own fire. To illuminate the path is to become an archetype of possibility. When others see you forgive, they begin to believe forgiveness is possible. When they see you choose integrity over applause, they begin to trust themselves. When they witness your quiet courage, they remember their own. You don't push, you don't preach, you live your light. And light, by its nature, reveals. You didn't come to be followed, you came to inspire direction. So these 7 agreements, they aren't rigid commandments or unchangeable laws. Think of them more like frequencies, vibrations that resonate within you. They're like the cosmic microwave background radiation, the faint echo of the Big Bang that's still reverberating through space and time. In the same way, your actions, your energy, leave an imprint, a ripple through the fabric of the universe. These agreements don't bind you, they guide you, like the gravitational pull of distant stars shaping the paths of planets. This radiation still echoes throughout the universe, shaping our understanding of the cosmos, just as the vibrations of your choices shape the world around you. Just as this radiation continues to shape our understanding of the cosmos, your choices and your energy ripple through the fabric of existence, leaving an imprint on everything you encounter. They may not always make sense. They may feel inconvenient, isolating, even exhausting, but they are yours, and they matter. Because Earth, despite all its chaos, is still a classroom, a workshop, where something unprecedented is trying to emerge. A new kind of human, a new kind of civilization. And you're not here by accident. Just as the universe is expanding, so too are where we're understanding of ourselves, our potential, our place in the cosmos. You are a participant in that emergence. So here we are, floating on a pale blue dot suspended in a sunbeam, orbiting an average star in a suburban corner of a galaxy that is just one of trillions. And yet, somehow, despite this vastness, your life matters. Your choices ripple. Your presence has weight not in kilograms or newtons, but in resonance. We often think of light as a metaphor, as something poetic or spiritual. But in physics, light is literal. It is both particle and wave. It carries momentum. It alters what it touches. And in much the same way, your consciousness exists both as form and frequency. You are a body, yes, but you are also a signal, a transmitter, a node in a network that spans not just Earth, but perhaps dimensions we don't yet have the mathematics to describe. The agreements you made before you came here, they weren't contracts with punishment clauses. They were permissions. Permissions to live fully, to forget bravely, to serve joyfully, to anchor deeply, to transmute courageously, to walk honestly, and to shine unconditionally. And every time you say yes to those agreements in the present moment, you recalibrate the future, not just for yourself, but for everyone. This is the true nature of cosmic responsibility, not to save the world by force, but to become so authentically aligned that your very existence becomes an invitation. That is the kind of physics that textbooks don't cover. The physics of consciousness, of intention, of transformation, and maybe, just maybe, the reason the universe is expanding is because souls like yours keep arriving, keep saying yes, keep pushing the boundaries of what humanity is capable of becoming. So don't let the noise of the world make you doubt the clarity of your calling. Don't mistake your quiet impact for insignificance. Stars don't make sound, but they shape galaxies. Your work, your presence, your being in it matters in ways you may never fully see. And when it feels like too much, when the density is too heavy, when the veil feels too thick, look up, look out. Remember that you came from the same particles that birthed the stars. And if hydrogen, the simplest element in the universe, can become the engine of suns, then you, with your heart and your history, your pain and your purpose, can become the source of something luminous. You're not here to escape Earth. You're here to transform it. You're not just a temporary visitor in this vast universe. You are a creator, a builder, a weaver of the future. Just as new stars are formed from the collapse of old ones, your actions and choices can shape the future of humanity. You are a reminder of what we've lost in our rush toward progress, but also a beacon of what we can become if we choose to evolve consciously. Much like how our understanding of the cosmos expands with each new discovery, so too does your potential to shape the world, not just with knowledge, but with the energy you bring to it. The agreements you made before coming to this earth, they're not burdens, they're blueprints, designed to guide you through the complexity of existence. Just like the seeds that begin as tiny grains of potential, they hold the power to shape a future yet to unfold. Now is the time to nurture them, not with rigid certainty, but with curiosity. Not with predefined answers, but with openness. Not with perfection, but with genuine presence. Much like how stars are born, they don't emerge fully formed, they evolve, they burn, and they shine as they grow. When enough of us live according to these agreements, Earth stops being a battleground. It becomes a beacon of light, and the universe vast, ever watching, ever expanding, continues its journey because it knows why we're here. Just as galaxies expand, so too does our potential to create, to heal, and to illuminate the path forward. The universe made space for us not by chance, but by design. So go, shine, forget, remember, fall, rise, serve, anchor, walk, illuminate. You're not just here for the journey. You are the journey. The path you walk isn't just for you, it becomes the path others can follow. Not because you're forcing them, but because you're living it, you're embodying it. And that's how stars are born, through a process of accumulation, fusion, and transformation. Just like every star, you too are a product of the cosmos. And your energy, your life ripples through the universe, leaving behind a trail of light. That is how stars are born.